I kind of romanticize the idea of having men around, not friend zoned men, but actual friends who are just around. Because I enjoy masculinity. And in the past, I only had that when I was dating the people. But maybe it was just too much of a stretch from reality to be like, oh, I can have men around that are friends and I can be single, the catch that I am. But no, because I was like, oh man, I tried to make a friend that's a guy. And then he's like, oh, you want to do dinner on Friday? And that was the guy where I'm like, I had my food prepped. And I literally sent him photos and videos of, you know how I post, if you guys follow me on Instagram, I post my food smash or passes all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I sent him those videos because we're not on Instagram. We don't follow each other. And he was like, oh, it looks good. I was like, yep. So I'm going to pass on dinner. I have food at home.
Mm-hmm.
And I genuinely meant that. And I also wasn't interested in him. If I was interested in him, I'm sure I'd be like, okay. But I'm not going to go outside of my routine unless I'm really into somebody. Because it's been a waste of time otherwise. And I know what it feels like now to go out with somebody since I've gone out with so many people and I'm not like gung-ho that I'm not even going to bother.
Yeah. So where me and you differ, like I like to talk to people a lot and kind of get that vibe check in the beginning, but you prefer not to really talk to them as much and save it for the first date.
Yes, that's if I'm online dating.
Okay.
Which I don't do anymore. It's been too many years and it doesn't work. And I feel more organically tied to people who I meet in the wild, because that means
not the wild.
That means we have more in common and we're in the same circles and like it's just more overlap and it feels so much more natural. Even though there are success stories online, blah, 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 blah. But like, I noticed when I would go out with strangers from the internet, we would talk a lot, then we'd go out and then the rapport is completely different. So it's like you're bursting a bubble on the first date. So it's starting off kind of negative. That's why I'm like, you know what? I don't want to set up any expectations because your banter is so funny via text. And then you're just a different person. Or they might be a different person physically too. They might be catfishing you or have old photos or something. So yes, when it comes to communication with new dates, let's just vibe as much as we can in person. Even if we meet in real life, like if I'm at an event and we start chatting, you're like, oh, let's exchange information. I don't need to like fall asleep on the phone with you if we're not even physically seeing each other all the time.
Yeah. Joe and I did a lot of texting and stuff back and forth before we started dating. And a hard rule that I had, single me, was like, you know, you don't just FaceTime me. I think that was for anybody really, friends, whatever, unless you're like, maybe like top 3, you don't just randomly FaceTime people because I could be looking crazy. I didn't pencil you in. We haven't scheduled an appointment. But Joe called me. He FaceTimed me and I picked up, but I think I definitely like covered the camera first, like to see if he would show his face first, like just stupid stuff. But I was like, why are you calling me? Like, this is very bold of you. You can't just be FaceTiming people out of the blue. But he was like, I'm not going to sit across from you and it's weird. So if we can't talk on the phone right now and it is like flowing and natural, then how do I know that we can do that across from each other? And I was like, touche. I also, the boldness was attractive, risky, but attractive. But something that he does really well is like, it was a calculated risk, I guess. Like he really like read the room. If you try that on somebody like way too soon, it could potentially be a turnoff. Like, why are you FaceTiming me? What signals have I put out there for you to think that I wanted to not only jump on a call, but like see each other right now? But in our case, it worked.
Yeah, and reading the room is something that's
it's a lost art.
Yeah, a lot of people cannot do it, and you get these text messages, and it's like, are we in the same dynamic? Because some people attach quicker than others, especially if everyone's single. Even if dating is not even on the table, and you just meet, like. Even platonic friends. Some people just be paragraph texting or trauma dumping and like just doing too much talking when it's not reciprocal and mutual. And I make sure I don't do that at all when it comes to relationships because I'm like...
So, okay, question for you then. Somebody like you that, and you know, maybe this is like online dating, let's say, because just so many people are meeting on the apps. You don't like a lot of communication. So I feel like there's a very short window for somebody to hook you. If somebody was interested in you, how would you want them to talk to you? Like, what are the, not key phrases, you know, but like, what can somebody say in that short window to hook you, I guess?
What's always stood out to me was when someone actually thoroughly looked at my profile, not just, oh, pretty pictures, and just say, hey.
Mm-hmm.
So if they read my responses or actually say something insightful, like I'm always going to write something about escape rooms. So if they say something about escape rooms and we just start talking about escape rooms, or have you done this one? Like a regular conversation, that will hook me. And then I feel like it would just lead to, we need to do one day, but let's start with coffee. Are you free on Thursday? You know, just very normal. Like, don't jump the gun. Don't be too overly complimentary, because it's like, that's not doing anything. Like, would we actually vibe is all that matters. So straight to the point, a little bit of banter, a little bit of humor, and then actually plan a date.
Mm-hmm.
All within the same one concise conversation. If we meet online and I don't know who you are and you send like a good morning text the next day or something and we haven't even met, that's weird. Because then you're setting up this dynamic and this standard to have a good morning text every single day. And I don't like that either. So it's like, you need to learn how to talk and communicate depending on what stage you're in. If that's my man and you want to say something flowery to start my day every morning, more power to you. But if I don't know you at all, it's not how I vibe.
Yeah.
Even I hung out with somebody platonically and we went to a show and he was like, let me know when you get home. I was like, I won't be doing that. I'm sorry. Like,
he was just trying to be chivalrous.
But then I don't want to set a precedent like that. And I don't want to be texting you after 11 p.m. And I just don't want to be on your phone like that. Like, I just think certain things mean certain things. And I'm good because I was good for 30-some years before we saw this show. And I'll be good tonight. It's fine. It's totally fine. I promise. It's totally fine. So yeah, I'm just mindful of communication now.
Yeah. That reminds me, I feel like I've forgotten so much of this, just so much has happened, but I can't remember if we were still just talking or if it was official and we were dating, but you know, I would text and Joe would text me back and then I would text and next thing you know, it's like the whole day has gone by of us just going like back and forth. And even though we liked each other, like it was getting exhausting to have to stop whatever I was doing and like text him back. And I think finally I just kind of, like I was getting irritated and I'm like, why am I getting irritated? Like I do like this guy. I do enjoy talking to him, but it was just too much. And so I think I just had to put out the disclaimer that it's okay if we don't talk every second, every hour of the day. We have established that we like each other. I know that you have a life outside of me. I'm coming into this thing with a kid, so I definitely have a life outside of you. I'm not one of those girls that will get mad if 3 hours go by. Now, mind you, that's because like we already knew that we were interested. We weren't playing games. He wasn't like ghosting me and leaving me on red for like hours. But like in some way, we both just kind of like felt like we had to text back right away. But deep down, it was driving us both nuts. And so I finally just kind of blurted it out, probably not in the nicest way. Because I just like let it bottle up inside of me when really if I just would have established that out of the gate, he was like, oh my gosh, me too. And then it was like a sigh of relief. Like it was just less pressure, you know?
Yeah. So maybe that does need to be discussed up front. What's your communication style? Because some people love the good morning text and the good night text and then fall asleep on the phone.
I know a lot of people, it's like, oh my gosh, don't you, like, why would you ever let 3 hours go without texting me? Like, have you seen me? And I'm just like, oh, please just don't text me every hour.
No, that's a nightmare. I actually like having things to talk about. So live your life.
Yeah, like I always say, like you need to save room to miss each other. Like especially now that I'm on the other side of it. Like we're married, we both have a lot of flexibility in our work, so sometimes our days consist of us being around each other. So in the evening when we're like unpacking, it's like, oh, I know what you was doing. Like I was right next to you the whole time. So if you're not married yet, like definitely save room to miss each other. Like find out how his day was, which means he has to experience something outside of you. And then you can also find other reasons to like fall in love with him because it's like, oh wow, you did that. That's really cool, you know? And
yeah. Or even if your inclination is to text a lot, be more playful with it, or be more methodical. Like instead of sending the giant paragraph text, which a lot of men don't even read, not gonna lie, they first line, last line, and try to figure it out in the middle. But instead of sending the paragraph text, be like, oh my gosh, babe, work was insane today, can't wait to tell you tonight over dinner, winky face. You know, you're thinking about him, you want to tell him a story, you actively have a life outside of him, he's gonna be excited to hear the story later. It's just a better flow. Yeah, and more is not always better when it comes to communication.
No, especially with those long text messages.
And it signals something else. To me, it signals desperation. It signals you have nothing else to do. It signals I'm the only person in your life that you have to talk to. Like, you don't have any siblings, you don't have a cousin, you don't have a friend, you don't have someone from middle school who you're still cool with. Like, it's just me. That's just too much pressure in communication.